Hi, this is Rudy Jones. Welcome to the South Carolina College Baseball Recap for Saturday, April the 11th. This is part of my coverage of college baseball in South Carolina that I provide at PalmettoStateBaseball.com. I have scores, schedules, notes, other items at that website. During the games, I provide updates on my X handle, which is Palmetto Base. There were 38 games played in the state involving state teams on Saturday. That puts us over the 1,000 game mark for the season. We've now had 1,028 games involving state teams so far this season. Last year we had about 1,700. So we've still got a ways to go, even though the season is winding down for some of the smaller division schools. Anyway, getting to Saturday's action. Out in Columbia, Missouri, Dawson Harmon hit 2 of South Carolina's 4 home runs, and he drove in 4 runs as the Gamecocks beat Missouri by a score of 6-4 to clinch their first ever sweep at Como. The Gamecocks are now 18-19 overall, 5-10 in the SEC. Missouri fell to 20-17 and 3-12. Will Craddock and KJ Scobie also homered for the Gamecocks. Scobie had 3 hits. Missouri was held to 1 hit, a 2-run homer by former Gamecock Jace Woita, until the 9th inning when they got 3 hits, got the tying run at second base before Alex Philpott got the final out. Gamecocks again completed that sweep. They are now 5-6 with Monty Lee as interim head coach in SEC play, and they were 6-25 during Paul Maneri's tenure in SEC games. In Clemson, North Carolina scored a pair of unearned runs on a squeeze bunt in the 14th inning and held on to beat the Tigers by a score of 6-4, again in 14 innings. Really a good game, lots of excitement, even though both teams missed some action. Chances to score. North Carolina scored a run in the 8th inning and a run in the 9th to force extra innings. Then in the 14th, there was a single, a walk, a dropped fly ball in right field to load the bases. The 3 players were converging on the ball, and the player who called the other 2 off dropped it. That set up the bases loaded with 1 out. Tyler Howe bunted. It was a great bunt. They tried to make a desperation throw to home. It got wild. It went wild. So the first run scored. The second run came around from second and scored. Clemson made a swipe tag at the runner trying to get him out. They ruled him safe, and it was upheld on umpire review. It was not appealed for by Clemson. I don't think they had any left. The umpires checked, and they said that the runner indeed was safe. And the Tar Heels held on to win. They're number 6 in the country. North Carolina is now 29-6-1, 12-5 in the ACC. Clemson's 23-13 and 5-9. That hurt the Tigers, losing that one like they did, of course. For Clemson, Michael Sharman had another good start. He went 5 innings, struck out 6, allowed 2 runs. Out in Jonesboro, Arkansas, Walker Mitchell singled in the go-ahead run in the top of the 9th inning, and Coastal Carolina held on to beat Arkansas State by a score of 4-3. The Chanticleers are now 26-8 overall, 13-1 in the Sun Belt. They're number 11 in the country. Arkansas State fell to 20-14 and 6-8. Dean Mijos had 3 hits and scored 2 times. He also had a stolen base for the Chanticleers. Again, they're number 11. They've won umpteen Sun Belt series in a row. Down in Clinton, Presbyterian scored 2 runs in the 4th inning and 2 more in the 5th, and beat Winthrop by a score of 5-2. That handed the Eagles their first loss in Big South Conference play. PC improved to 7-29 overall, 3-8 in the Big South. Winthrop fell to 23-12 and 7-1. For PC, Emory Guilford had a couple of doubles, a run scored, and 3 RBI. In Spartanburg, Tanner Harden's 3-run homer in the 3rd inning put Wofford ahead to stay, and they held on to beat the Citadel 6-5 to clinch a Southern Conference Series win. The Terriers improved to 24-11 overall, 7-1 in the SoCon. Citadel fell to 16-18 and 3-5. For Wofford, Andrew Manley had a couple of hits, a couple of walks, a couple of runs scored, and a couple of RBI. Wiley Waters, double, triple, and homer to drive in 4 runs, and USC Upstate clinched a series win over Charleston Southern in Big South Conference play. That final score was 15-9. The Spartans are now 19-17 overall, 8-6 in the Big South. Charleston Southern fell to 20-13 and 5-6. For Upstate, Henry Zenor was 3-for-4 with a homer, a walk, 2 runs scored, and 3 RBI. In the final game involving a state D1 team on Saturday, Reese Holbrook's 2-run single in the 5th inning put College of Charleston ahead to stay, and the Cougars beat North Carolina A&T by a score of 6-4 to win that Coastal Athletic Association series. They're now had 2 games won. Second straight day that the college had to rally from behind to win the game. They are now 15-19 overall and 7-7 in the CAA. North Carolina A&T fell to 9-24 and 3-11. I might be wrong with Charleston's record. It might be 16-19. Just don't have an easy way to check right now. I forgot to write it down. Anyway, moving on to Division II. In Conference Carolinas, Bennett Romer pitched a complete game in the opener. North Carolina went on to sweep UNC Pembroke in a Conference Carolinas doubleheader. Game 1 score was 7-2, that game that Romer pitched. Game 2 score was 4-2. For the Trailblazers, C.J. Dean had a single, a double, a walk, a run scored, and 2 RBI in Game 1. And in Game 2, Josh Fowkes singled, homered, walked, and drove in 2 runs. North Greenville is now 36-7, 23-4 overall. They've won 11 straight games. And Pembroke fell to 26-14 and 16-11. Down in Florence, Will Durrell's 2-run single in the 9th inning of Game 2 lifted Francis Marion to a 3-2 come-from-behind win over Ferrum to complete a doubleheader and series sweep in Conference Carolinas. The Patriots also won Game 1 on Saturday by a score of 4-3. Francis Marion is now 34-8 overall, 22-5 in the conference, 1 game back in North Greenville. And Ferrum fell to 16-22 and 8-19. For the Patriots, in Game 1, Aiden Palmer went 6 innings to get the win. He allowed 3 runs and struck out 9. In Game 2, Easy E. Rojas pitched a complete game, allowed 2 runs and struck out 5. Nice pitching there. Also in Conference Carolinas, over at Due West, a 4-run 6th inning in Game 1 lifted Erskine over Barton in that game by a score of 7-4. And then in Game 2, they scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning, with the final run coming on a sacrifice fly by Danny Villafane to sweep the Barton Bulldogs by a score in that game of 5-4. Flying Fleet improved to 23-20 overall, 17-10 over in the conference, and Barton fell to 7-28 and 5-22. Flying Fleet came from behind in all 3 games, and they have now won. I'm going to take a look right quick if I can find it. And I don't know. I think they won 4 straight, and I think they've won 11 of their last 12. I believe that's correct on that. Maybe 9 or 10 of their last 11. But anyway, moving on. A 10-run 7th inning in Game 1 iced Belmont Abbey win over Southern Western by a score of 15-4, and the Crusaders won Game 2 by a score of 14-2 over at Central. Belmont Abbey is now 31-9 overall, 22-5 in the conference. Southern Wesleyan fell to 14-29 and 8-19. For Southern Wesleyan in Game 1, Ethan Schimmel had a single, a homer, a stolen base, and 3 RBI. And in Game 2, Cade Bowling was 3 for 4 with a double, a run scored, and an RBI. In the Peach Belt Conference, Yariel Diaz and Evan Harding homered and joined Salvatore Lamo in driving in 3 runs apiece. And USC Aiken run-ruled Augusta 16-6 in 8 innings to clinch a series sweep in the Peach Belt. The Pacers are now 30-12 overall, 17-7 in the Peach Belt. Augusta fell to 16-24 and 11-13. Also for Augusta, Harding was 3 for 6, 2 runs scored, and 3 RBI. For Aiken, 3 for 6 with 2 runs scored and 3 RBI. In another Peach Belt game, Landers wrapped out 15 hits and evened its series with Georgia College. The final score on Saturday was 13-6. Bearcats are now 23-18 overall, 16-10 in the conference. Georgia College fell to 16-22 and 10-13. For the Bearcats, Ryan Hansen was 3 for 5 with a walk, stolen base, a home run, 2 runs scored, and 2 RBI. Middle Georgia got a pair of shutout wins over Claflin. First game score was 23-0. Second game score was 12-0. Middle Georgia is now 16-26 overall, 9-15 in the conference. Claflin fell to 4-29 and 1-23. USC Beaufort played out of the conference on Saturday. They opened a 3-game series at Eckerd with a doubleheader, and the Sand Sharks lost both games. First game score was 5-0. First game score was 12-2. Second game score was 5-0. In Game 1, Tyler Gundelfinger had a double hit by pitch and 2 runs driven in. In Game 2, Andrew Walters had a single and walked 3 times. Beaufort fell to 10-27. In the South Atlantic Conference, Ian Hawk pitched a complete game, and Gavin Johnson had a pair of two-run singles as Coker won Game 1 of a doubleheader at Anderson by a score of 10-4, but the Trojans came back to win the nightcap by a score of 10-6. Coker's now 11-29 overall, 9-18 in the conference. Anderson is 20-21 and 8-19. Dom Bello doubled and drove in 4 runs for the Trojans in Game 2. Also in Game 1 for Coker, Luke Miller was 2 for 3 with 2 doubles, a walk, 3 RBI. And in Game 2 for Anderson, Riley Matthews was 3 for 3 with a run scored and 3 RBI. Newberry held off a 9th inning comeback by Wingate to win Game 1 of a doubleheader by a score of 6-5. But the Bulldogs hit 7 home runs in the nightcap when they won 25-7 to take the rubber game of that series. Newberry is now 25-18 overall, 17-10 in the SAC. Wingate is 30-12 and 20-7. In that doubleheader for Newberry, Logan Busenlaner had a single, a homer, 2 runs scored, and 2 RBI in Game 1. And in Game 2, Zane McClendon was 3 for 4 with a double and 3 RBI. In Junior College Region 10, O'Neill Feliz was 5 for 8 with a double, 2 homers, and 10 RBI. And Florida Darlington Tech swept USC Salkehatchie. Game scores were 13-5 and 18-2. The Stingers are now 39-8 overall, 18-5 in the region. Salkehatchie fell to 3-40 and 1-21. For Florence in Game 1, B.J. Balls was 3 for 5 with 2 doubles, 3 runs scored, and 2 RBI. And in Game 2, Pat Costin was 3 for 4 with a homer, 3 runs scored, and 5 RBI. Also in Region 10, Ryan Pikatowski's 18th homer helped USC Sumter take Game 2 of a doubleheader at Lancaster against USC Lancaster, 16-8, after the Lancers won Game 1 by a score of 5-1. In Game 2, Brody Cook had a single, a homer, 2 runs scored, and 4 RBI for the Fire Ants. In Game 1, Nate Berg was the winning pitcher. He pitched 5 innings, allowed a hit, and did not allow a run. Lancaster is now 21-20 overall, 8-14 in the conference. Sumter is 26-16 and 12-10. And up at Sims Legion Park in Gastonia, Gaston College beat USC Union in a pair of games. Game 1 score was 7-2. Game 2 score was 19-1 in 5 innings. The Rhinos are now 41-3 overall, 20-3 in the region. They're 2 games ahead of FD Tech. Union fell to 25-18 and 8-14. For Union in those games, Gavin Underwood had a double, homer, drove in 2 runs in Game 1. And in Game 2, Brett Boone had a single and an RBI. Elsewhere, Henry Rumble had 5 hits and drove in 9 runs as Bob Jones swept Baptist University of Florida in a doubleheader at Conisty Park. Game 1 score was 18-14. It was a wild game, a lot of scoring in just about every inning. Game 2 score was 14-7. The Bruins are now 11-22. Baptist University of Florida fell to 14-18-1. In Game 1 for Bob Jones, as I mentioned, Rumble had a great day. He had a double, triple, homer, walk, 4 runs scored, and 5 RBI. Then in Game 2, Evan Johnson was 3 for 4 with 2 RBI. He also pitched an inning and struck out 2. In addition, Johnson had 6 hits. Jacob Highsmith had 4 in the doubleheader. Zach Tyre had 4 RBI in Game 1. Over down in Columbia, Corbin Wright had 2 hits in each game and drove in 3 runs in Game 2 as Columbia International split an Appalachian Athletic Conference doubleheader with Reinhardt. First game score, Reinhardt won 8-0. Second game score, Columbia International won by a score of 5-4. For the Rams in Game 1, Jennings Green was 2 for 4, and as I mentioned, Wright had 2 doubles and 3 RBI in Game 2. Over at Spartanburg, Georgia Gwinnett, which is ranked either number 2 or number 1 in the country in NAIA, depending on the poll you use, took a pair of lopsided wins over Spartanburg Methodist. In Game 1, they scored 13 runs in the 7th inning and went on to a 26-6 win. And in Game 2, they won by a score of 13-0. The Grizzlies are now 37-4. Spartanburg Methodist fell to 19-21. For the Pioneers in Game 1, Lane Schrader was 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. And in Game 2, Trey Wendell, or Wendell, depending on how it's pronounced, was 2 for 2. Also, Stillman completed a series sweep of Voorhees in the HBCU Athletic Conference. Final score was 12-5. Stillman's now 19-3 overall, 13-3 in the, I think they're 19-13, 13-3 in the conference. Voorhees fell to 20-21, 7-21, and 6-10. Benedict and Albany State were scheduled to play a doubleheader on Saturday in Columbia, but according to my sources, the Albany State coach has some concerns about the field's playing condition. They postponed it, hoping to play a single game on Sunday and a doubleheader on Monday if the field meets the coach's expectations. I know that Benedict's been trying to fix it up, get a little bit more to whatever his liking was. Anyway, beyond the border in the ACC, number 3 Georgia Tech wrapped up a sweep of Florida State with a 17-5 win. Notre Dame up into number 13 Virginia 5-3. Number 23 Boston College beat Virginia Tech 8-7. Louisville shut out Stanford 10-0. NC State beat Duke 18-5. California beat Pitt 14-6. And Wake Forest turned back Miami 3-1. ACC standings now through Saturday. Georgia Tech's 15-3, North Carolina's at 12-5, followed by Florida State at 9-6, Boston College at 10-7, NC State at 8-6, Wake Forest and Virginia at 9-8, Miami's at 7-7, Louisville and Pitt are at 6-8, Duke is at 7-10, as are Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. Clemson's at 5-9, tied with Stanford, and California's in last at 3-11. In the SEC, number 4 Georgia evened its series with number 18 Florida with a 5-1 win down in Athens. Number 15 Texas A&M had a big first inning and spanked Texas 11-4. They clinched a series win over the number 2 Longhorns. A&M's 15th. Number 13 Oklahoma beat Vanderbilt 6-5. Number 22 Arkansas beat number 7 Alabama for the second straight day 15-6. Number 25 Ole Miss pounded number 24 LSU 12-2, and Tennessee beat number 9 Mississippi State 6-8. Now Kentucky and Auburn are still going on as I record this. Here are the standings before that game as of Saturday. Georgia is 11-3. Texas A&M and Texas are at 9-5. Alabama and Florida are at 8-6. Auburn is 7-6 going into Saturday night's game. Arkansas is 7-7, as are Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Oklahoma's 7-8. Vandy is at 7-8. Kentucky's at 6-7, pending Saturday's result. LSU is at 6-8, as is Tennessee. South Carolina is now 5-10. They're 2 games up on Missouri, who is at 3-12. In other games outside the state, Kansas swept number 12 Central Florida by the scores of 6-3 and 6-1. Texas Tech topped number 17 West Virginia at 4-1. Louisiana topped number 10 Southern Mississippi 8-4 in Sun Belt Conference play, and number 19 Nebraska beat number 21 Oregon 10-8. Elsewhere, North Georgia beat Columbus State 16-6 to clinch the regular season championship in the Peach Belt Conference. The Nighthawks are coached by former Gamecocks pitcher Nolan Belcher. That's it for Saturday's results. Looking here, they're still in the 9th inning of the Kentucky-Auburn game. May not get over before I finish this. But now looking at the schedule for Sunday. USC Buford is at Eckerd at 11 a.m. North Carolina and Clemson complete their series at 12:30 over at Clemson. Albany State's at 1 at Benedict at 1. Field conditions pending. Charleston Southern and USC Upstate finish their series at 1. Of course, the Spartans are up 2-0. Florence Darlington Tech is at USC Salkehatchie at 1. Landers at Georgia College at 1, going for the rubber game of that series. North Carolina A&T is at College of Charleston at 1. The Cougars going for a series sweep. The Citadels at Wofford at 1 o'clock. USC Lancaster's at USC Sumter at 1. And USC Union is at Gaston College at 1. Also, Winthrop's at Presbyterian in what is now the rubber game of the series. 1 o'clock start down at Elton Pollock Field. And Coastal Carolina goes for a series sweep at Arkansas State at 2 o'clock. That's it for the South Carolina College Baseball recap for Saturday, April the 11th, and the schedule for April the 12th. We'll have lots of things going on tomorrow on PalmettoStateBaseball.com, a lot of the weekly roundups and all. But for now, this is Rudy Jones of PalmettoStateBaseball.com, reminding you can keep up to date with things at PalmettoStateBaseball.com or follow me on X under the handle of Palmetto Base. But for now, this is Rudy Jones saying, good night, Jesus loves you.